tune in.
Welcome to the newest fantasy football show on the net, The Sideline. What I want to do is focus on some of these big matchups, some of these big games happening around the NFL, and how that is going to affect your starters and some of your main guys that you put on the field. What's up? What's up? Week 8 of Sideline. I'm your host, Jimmy Farris. Here with me is Slash and Cleopatra.
Can somebody tell me, do vegetarians eat animal crackers? That's all I want to know.
So he starts off the show with a final thought. Impressive.
It's a question.
As you can see, I'm not dressed up. I'm not in the Halloween spirit. I had to keep the integrity.
He's a serial killer. They look like everybody.
I wanted to uphold the integrity of this fine, classy show, so I am dressed accordingly. Let's jump right into it. As always, we're going to start with those fantasy hot ads. Now, listen, we've got some guys here who, quite frankly, I don't know why they're still out there.
They've been on the list for 3 weeks
For 3 weeks in a row. I don't understand that. Seattle's defense, Danny Woodhead, Matt Castle. Can understand Jonathan Stewart, but Dez Bryant was still out there also. I don't understand this.
It means one thing. Their team is just so good, they don't need them. That's what it has to be.
There must be a lot of great teams out there.
Not in my league.
There's some guys out here that, like I said, Danny Woodhead should have been picked up 2 weeks ago. Matt Castle should have been picked up after week 1. And Dez Bryant, same way. The guy's got a couple punt returns for touchdowns. And
he is looking like a grown man.
Didn't he break his ankle or something like that recently?
No,
that was like 10 weeks ago in the preseason. He sprained his ankle. But he's been back for them in that lineup, and he's been one of Tony Romo's better targets. I mean, Roy Williams and Miles Austin are playing well, but Dez Bryant has been playing great.
But since he's been playing with the second stringer, Kitna knows him better. He's going to become his number one target.
No, I would agree. I would definitely say that Dez Bryant probably has more chemistry with John Kitna at this point in time. So look for Dez Bryant to continue to have that success and even bigger numbers with John Kitna in the lineup. Kitna's not as familiar with Witten and Miles Austin or Roy Williams, so definitely look for Dez Bryant to continue to pick it up. Now, on the other side of that, we have one of the top drops in fantasy this week, which there's no surprise. Tony Romo here, probably out for the rest of the season.
No more. He's done.
He's been dropped more than 1,600 times this week, and it's growing at the rate of 2 to 3 per minute.
Where's the loyalty?
If you break your body,
what do you mean? It's not about loyalty.
It's
about the fact that if he's not going to play, he's of no use to you in fantasy football.
That is true. He's no use to anybody right now.
So wrong.
He can't even carry jock straps.
What did Herm Edwards say? You play to win the game, and that's what fantasy owners are doing.
Like this, it doesn't help the team. That's why John Detroit Lion Kitna is
so Tony Romo hurt in week 7, out for the rest of the season.
Possibly.
Probably.
Depends on the record. But looking at their schedule,
doesn't look too good for those Cowboys. But speaking of week 7, there was a lot of great games and a lot of breakout performances. We had a couple of guys that really have been playing pretty well, but really took it to another level. Darren McFadden is one of them, rushed for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns in a blowout Raiders win. When was the last time we've said that, a blowout Raiders win?
I know, right?
And Denver was supposed to be one of the upper, not top, but upper echelon teams in the league, and you got manhandled like babies.
59 by the Raiders? That was unbelievable.
You were gummy bears on the sideline when you're supposed to be playing the football. What is wrong with you?
But Darren McFadden is definitely hot. He's definitely going to be a go-to guy in that offense if they continue to have a revolving door at quarterback. Another guy,
Seattle next, who's a top defense.
Who's a top defense. So that's actually going to be a showdown, dare we say.
Somebody's got to give.
Well, his yardage keeps surpassing his last season.
No question.
Average 4 yards a game, you can't help but surpass it.
When you play for the Raiders, anything you do is positive. Let's talk about a guy, though, who's really had a breakout game and is looking like he might have a breakout season here. Kenny Britt with the Tennessee Titans. 225 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns.
In 3 quarters.
Unbelievable, right?
Well, he has something to prove.
I dropped him 2 weeks ago.
Well, and for some reason, Vince Young has not been able to find him the way that Kerry Collins is finding him. They have another issue there. Who are they going to go with, Vince Young or Kerry Collins at quarterback?
Kerry Collins has better discipline in the pocket. That's all that is.
I agree totally. And I think what you see here with Kenny Britt's numbers is with Kerry Collins in the lineup, they go down the field more, which opens up, some of those big plays for Kenny Britt and also opens up CJ to run for 200
I
yards.
think that he has something to prove with him having the whole bar thing, and he sat out for the first,
He was out doing something he shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah,
well, he has something to
definitely
prove. To
Definitely
the
had
team.
something
That's
to
why
prove.
He's doing well.
He should've been proven the first 6 weeks.
Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Bills is another guy. Look, as bad as the Bills are, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been throwing consistently for 300 yards. He threw last week 382 yards and 4 touchdowns
Against Baltimore.
against the Ravens.
But a top 5 defense got shredded.
You love to say,
Oh my
well, look
God.
at who he's doing it against. What?
Look at who he did
and look at who
it
he did it against. Right.
Hey, seriously.
But look at this. Yahoo Sports says he's had 4,300 ads this week.
Wow. Well,
I'm just saying.
as bad
I
as the
mean,
Bills are, he's probably their one bright spot.
If he would have did this performance against like the Rams of Detroit, it would not be a big deal. But he did it against one of the better defenses in the league.
Which was very, very impressive. Definitely.
And had them winning. They were going to win, but then they reverted to being their old self.
All right, now to put a bow on week 7 here, let's recap who disappointed us and who impressed. I'm going to start off with who impressed me. Tampa Bay and Josh Freeman, a young team. Raheem Morris got those guys buying in. He kind of channeled his inner Rex Ryan here, saying they were the best team in the NFC. They impressed me with the big
His
win.
head on that.
Well, hey, he's got to look. They need a leader right now. Raheem Morris says, "I don't have a guy on the field. I don't have a veteran on the field. I'll step in and be the guy." Josh Freeman is playing really well at quarterback. I'm impressed with them.
But to be the best team in the NFC, shouldn't you be in first place in your division? Because last I checked,
No, I agree. I'm just saying they haven't. They are looking down the road, down into the kind of the heart of that schedule, and basically all Raheem Morris is saying is my team is going to continue to get better.
we'll see them next week. We resting up this week. We'll see them next week. We're gonna put it to the test.
All right. Well,
Put them to the test.
all right. Well, Ava,
Right.
let's talk for a minute. Who do you have on your impress list?
I'm definitely going with Kittner. He stepped to the plate with Romo being out. What? Are
Just
you
kidding.
serious?
No.
He's had over 2,400 ads this week alone. Like, I say he stepped up.
That's because
How
the
can
people
you
that
win?
had him had Tony Romo.
How can
They
you?
dropped and added the same guy, basically.
But either way, he's impressive. You can't refute that.
Did they win? They weren't impressive enough.
Look, I'll say this. John Kitna was serviceable. He was decent. I'm not ready to go with the impressed yet. He stepped in and threw a couple late touchdowns in a blowout. They had
They put in their
7
backups.
consecutive 3-and-outs his first 7 drives. So I'm not gonna say you're I don't like this pick. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give him one more week.
Backs who couldn't get up and do anything.
It was either Kitna or the
After
third
sitting for
string
that
quarterback
long?
who nobody knows.
I mean, if you sat for that long and then you get up and
Well, no, hold on now. Now, John Kitna had a couple. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback in
Right.
Detroit, and he had a couple of years where throwing to Roy Williams, he was, he took Roy Williams to a Pro Bowl. So this guy is not like a third string quarterback. This guy who's been a starter his whole career in the league.
Right.
So I will give you that. John Kitna is going to be a good player for them. I'm just not ready to go all the way in on him yet. Who do you have, Gerard?
My impressed? Oakland. Their offense. Oh my God. 500 plus yards. McFadden. Campbell had 2 touchdowns. Looks like he might be coming around. Still waiting on him. He might not be ready to have a spotlight, but he is turning himself around.
I wouldn't be as impressed by the Raiders if it wasn't against the Broncos, who's
I'm
a
saying.
team who we like. We've all said
I like
all
the
season long the Broncos are a good team.
And it is the Raiders. We still when you say the Raiders, it's not like back in the 80s and 70s when you say it's
No.
the Raiders. No, it's the Raiders.
It's like the black hole,
Man
like
is not here
y'all
to
are
say the
lost
Raiders
in
are coming.
darkness.
No, this is where they fired coaches after 6 months. This is still the Raiders. And they took it. They took out the rat traps and threw them all on the ground so No Show couldn't run. I mean, he was done.
Yeah, it was
It was horrible. Oh,
It was crazy. Now, speaking of disappointments, the New Orleans Saints, what was Drew Brees doing?
he was doing what he was supposed to be doing this year. Thank you, Madden curse.
Yeah, the Madden curse is a real thing.
It
man.
happens.
This is
Why don't people
unbelievable.
believe it by now?
I don't know. Every year they want to pass it up.
But
Look,
really, a video game cover?
The only
listen.
person to have a good year was Eddie George, and he fumbled the last play to keep them out the play.
It has
That was the
been.
only person.
Mike Vick broke his leg. Vince Young damn near committed suicide.
Donovan
Donovan
McNabb
McNabb
broke his entire body.
blew his ACL. I mean, this thing is a real thing.
This happens. Stay off the cover.
Listen, is it really worth the couple $1 million they pay you
No.
to have your face in the video game? No, not to be throwing 4 picks and
You
2
just
pick
took
sixes to D
one of
linemen,
the
Drew
best
Brees.
offenses in the league, and You still lost to Arizona.
Listen,
I mean,
and I'm not buying this whole the running game thing. Like, nobody was really ready to call Reggie Bush a breakout running back or an every down back anyway. So
Can I say
losing
one
him and
team?
losing Pierre Thomas, really?
Can I say one team with no running game? The Colts. When Ezra and James left, everybody said they had no run game.
Right.
What happened? They won a Super Bowl.
Right. Joseph Adai came in and filled in wonderfully, and I'm just not ready to just throw this out there as an excuse. Well, it's their running game.
It's
That's
still
what everybody always
Drew Brees
wants to
and
say.
7 receivers that catch. You still ought to be able to move the ball. Even if
yeah.
they throw 3 in the box, you still should be able to move the ball.
All right, so you got a good one this week. We already kind of talked about a little bit, but your disappointment, same game,
Same game is Denver.
unbelievable.
And seriously, you play like it's like the practice squad was out. It's not preseason. This was a game, and you needed this game, even though your division is a tad bit weak. But you needed it. It's still Oakland. It's not like the '70s Oakland where everybody like it's the Raiders. No, it's Raiders.
No, listen. There's too many.
You shouldn't do that.
There's too many veterans on that defense, and too many. You still have Brian Dawkins, Champ Bailey, some guys who have been in some wars. There's too many veterans on that defense to give up 59 to the Raiders.
To the Raiders. You telling me you can't tell when they're going to do a sweep to the left? Really? You can't pick that up? Is your eyesight really that bad to see a play action and then bite on it? Come on, be real with it.
Yeah.
Ava, it's your turn. Let's have it.
I'm so upset with the referee.
Some hair on my ears.
Hey,
Carry on.
the Vikings game. Packers and Vikings.
Vikings.
It's the Vikings. I am so upset. They could have won the game with
No, they
a little
couldn't.
reverse.
It's far.
It's the referees. They were paid off. I'm very upset with that.
So our disappointment's the referees.
Yes. I'm
Even though
disappointed
Favre,
in the
so
referees.
the referees
Even though
caused
Favre
to
threw
throw
like 11
interceptions.
picks and
I'm serious.
and Aaron Rodgers played well.
I have to
His
be loyal to my
man
Vikings.
is- no, you
matter
don't.
what.
You need
Yes,
to
I
be
do.
honest. Be real. The man was falling down and said, "You know what? Let me throw it to the guy in the green."
Well,
That's what he did.
We have a first here on sideline. We wanted a team that we're disappointed in.
I mean, the
and
rest of
Ava
them
went
ain't
with
really a
the
team.
officiating
I'm
crew.
going
I guess
with-
technically they are a
Technically they are a
team, so
team.
we'll give her that
They
one.
cheated. They cheated.
Yes.
I know Brett he's going through some things right now.
Yeah, it's called divaism. That's
Right,
what it's called.
it's called I'm distracted right now because I sent text messages of my stuff to a
Yes.
chick and my wife is on my ass
That's
and the
what it
whole
is.
problem.
Well, I was disappointed.
This is coming from the Egyptian with French tips. I'm not listening. I'm not listening.
There you have
Hater.
it.
I am a hater.
Well, that's going to do it here. Week 8 of Sideline. As always, we're going to give everybody a chance to give a final thought. Greasy, give it to us.
Well, it's not a thought. It's just a statement that was running through my mind. I go out, maybe once someone would just call me sir, with not saying you're creating a scene behind it. That's all I want. Please. Thank you.
Sir, you're creating a scene. I love
That's
that.
all I want. I hear that too much for no reason. I'm a nice guy.
I don't get it.
You never do.
Yeah, it went over your head. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I just want to say,
Oh, Jesus. Please.
X chromosomes represent.
No, she did it. No, she did it. I almost told her before the show, guys. Listen, I'm gonna apologize to
This
everybody
far.
watching.
This far.
Almost told her before the show.
Almost made it.
Don't. I can't even say it. Don't do that. Or we're gonna kick you
Hers
off the
was
show for
wild.
good. She did it. It happened. My mind is so blown right now that I don't even have a final thought. I'm just gonna throw it out. It's gone.
Look at you.
Be back next week, same place, same time. Week 9 coming at you next week on Sideline. Have a good week, everybody. Enjoy those games. Later.
She just feel like I
She
was
did it.
stabbed in my eye. It's just like,
When she went like this, I thought, yes. We're
and
gonna
she did it
escape.
backwards. It's like a flying album.
No, it was.
She was like this.
Here we go, shawty, here we go. Time to watch my favorite show. Every Saturday I'm tuning in, everybody know. Jimmy Fair, what it do? You know that's the host. We on the 50-yard line, 50 more to go. My Sideline TV on repeat. Win the Super Bowl and never leave my fantasy. And if you gotta work, well, you should call off. They not like pre-song, shout it, they don't fall off. Here we go. Here we go. It's time to tune in. 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 Here we go. Here we go. It's time to tune in. It's time to tune in. Time to tune in.